Angel Locsin apologizes after a senior citizen died of heart attack while falling in line at her community pantry in Quezon City Friday, April 23. The man who died was identified as 67-year-old Rolando de la Cruz. He was pronounced dead on arrival after losing consciousness. In a Facebook post, Locsin says she already reached out to de la Cruz's children at the hospital, adding that she will forever ask for their forgiveness. The actress says she will prioritize helping the family for now and accepts responsibility for the incident. Locsin sets up her own community pantry to celebrate her birthday on Friday, as inspired by an initiative that started in Maginhawa, Quezon City. Because of the surge of people that showed up to get free goods, Locsin opens her community pantry at 8 a.m., 2 hours earlier than scheduled.
Hindi po ito ang gusto ko. Nagkataon lang po talaga na siguro gutom lang po talaga yung tao na kahit wala po sa pila, sumingit na po sila. Kaya sa mga nagambala ko po dito, pasensya na po, hindi po itong intensyon ko.
Meantime, the government's special advisor to its COVID-19 task force, Teddy Arbosa, draws flack on Twitter after calling the incident a death by community pantry. But Filipinos online say residents lined up at Locsin's community pantry because of the government's failure to address the needs of the public as it battles the pandemic. The Philippines Food and Drug Administration records 24 fatalities after COVID-19 vaccinations, but most of those who died had pre-existing illnesses. On Friday, April 23, FDA Director General Eric Domingo stresses these deaths are not linked to the vaccination. Domingo says the 11 who died of COVID-19 after being vaccinated only got the first dose of the vaccine and were not yet completely protected from the coronavirus. Scientists say it's still possible to get infected with COVID-19 even after getting vaccinated. Meantime, the Philippines now has 3 million doses of Sinovac vaccines, with the arrival of 500,000 more doses on Thursday evening, April 22. The latest delivery is part of the 25 million Sinovac doses bought by the Philippine government. Of the 3 million Sinovac doses now in the country, 2 million are procured, while 1 million doses are donated by the Chinese government. The Department of Foreign Affairs files more diplomatic protests against the continued presence of Chinese vessels in the West Philippine Sea. In a statement Friday, April 23, the DFA says the presence of these vessels blatantly infringe upon Philippine sovereignty, sovereign rights, and jurisdiction. It also calls the Chinese vessel's presence a blatant disregard of China's commitments to regional peace and stability. The fresh round of protests is the latest action taken by the Philippine government against the continued presence of Chinese vessels in Julian Felipe Reef. 220 Chinese vessels were first spotted swarming the area in early March. As of April 20, Philippine maritime law enforcement agencies count a total of 165 Chinese vessels still in Philippine waters. For the second time in less than a year, the U.S. House of Representatives votes to make the District of Columbia or Washington, D.C. the 51st state. By a vote of 216 to 208, the Democratic-controlled House approved the initiative with no Republican support. The measure will be tackled in the Senate, where it faces stiff Republican opposition. The population of Washington, D.C. is heavily Democratic. Its population of around 700,000 is more than that of the states of either Wyoming or Vermont. Currently, Washington, D.C. has only one member of Congress, a House delegate, who is not allowed to vote on legislation. If the city became a state, it would carry 3 electoral votes in the presidential election process. Democrats have been advocating statehood for the capital of the United States for decades. If it pushes through, this will be the first time that a new state will become part of the U.S. since 1959, the year Alaska and Hawaii joined the Union. Democrats argue statehood would fix a centuries-old wrong of taxation without representation. The new state would be named Washington Douglas Commonwealth after George Washington, the first U.S. president, and Frederick Douglass, a former enslaved person who became a famous abolitionist. A video claiming opposition senatorial slate Otso Diretso will run again in the 2022 Philippine elections is false. Facebook page Blessed Be Philippines uploaded a video on March 27 with the title "The Losers from Otso Diretso Will Run Again in 2022." There are no official announcements of candidacies from the Otso Diretso as a group. The video uploaded by the page is also not new but was from a news report in 2019. The Otso Diretso slate in 2019 included Romulo Macalintal, Gary Alejano, Erin Tañada, Floren Hilbay, Samira Gutok, Mar Rojas, Bam Aquino, and Chel Jokno. None of them made any official announcements of their intent to run again for any position in the upcoming elections. The schedule for the filing of certificates of candidacy for all elective positions for the 2022 elections is from October 1 to October 8, 2021. Rappler has debunked other posts from Blessed Be Philippines in the past. In 2019, it falsely claimed nobody was poor during martial law and that real poverty happened during the term of the Aquinos. It also shared in 2018 a false pie chart of the Philippines' national debt under the last 3 administrations.